Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome once again to the Pet Show. Is your golden acting a little greedy? Are your rescued felines a bit fearful? Does your Pekingese have you paranoid? Well, if you love your dogs and cats, I'm assuming you do, really want to understand their behavior almost as well as they get you? Or maybe you're confused about why your dog or cat behaves a certain way, or maybe you just want to improve their lifestyle. Either way, you know what to do, right? Stay tuned, because once again, right here, right now, it is time for the Pet Show. America's first and only real pet psychology, pet training, pet behavior, and of course, pet lifestyle show. So hop up on my couch. Bring those furry little buddies with you, folks, because it is that time once again to let the animal analyzing begin. Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is the Pet Show, the place where we absolutely, positively, never a doubt about it, love, adore, and as I stress every single week, respect pets and animals as much as you do. By the way, if you want to join me on the Ever-Growing Pet Show family, if you have a question or a comment about your dog or cat's behavior, maybe you call them and the dog looks at you like you're talking to the wind, or your cat is digging on your couch or peed on your bed or uses the litter box rarely, or maybe your dog chases every dog he sees when you take him for a walk or is humping everything in sight. You get the idea, right? If you have a question or a comment, or maybe just want to find out why your dogs behave a certain way, and I can help resolve a lot of those issues with you, great time to give me a call. I do have a few things to give away on the show today. I'll be giving away some of those air horns. I'll be giving away some t-shirts perhaps, and copies of my best-selling books, along with some Acorn Pet products as well. And they got some amazing products for dogs with challenges and dogs going through, they need those special collars around their neck that dogs hate. Well, Acorn Pet has some interesting ones. So I'll be giving some of that stuff away on the show as well. The phone number here on the Pet Show, if you have a question or a comment about your dog or cat's behavior, just want to share a great story, that phone number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. Plenty of time for your calls. Lots of great stuff, as I say, to give away as well. Let me tell you what I have planned for today's show. First of all, I'm broadcasting from beautiful Arizona. Hey, Alex, are we hooked up, or do I have to hit something on my computer? Okay, good. I did that. You know me, if there's a sign on my desk, I wish you could see it. It says, if it doesn't pee, I don't deal with it. So I'm looking at my computer at, what do I do? What do I do? But I can help you with your pet issues. All right, broadcasting today from Arizona. You ready, Alex? 106 degrees. And if I hear one more person say, Warren, but it's a dry heat, I'm going to whack them. Well, not whack them. That's a New York thing. It drives me crazy. It's hot. Say it's hot. Live with the fact that it's hot. Deal with it. I knew it was hot when I moved to Arizona. Got rid of all my long sleeve shirts, by the way. Hey, let me tell you what's planned coming up on today's show. We've got a real interesting show for you guys as well. Before I get into that, though, well, I'll get into that later. But let me tell you what's coming up. Just recently, I received a really interesting question on my YouTube channel. And by the way, if you're not subscribing, what are you waiting for? YouTube.com/Warren Eckstein. Now, the YouTube channel, and it was about anxious dogs and anxiety. But I want to talk something a little different today. Panic attacks. Panic attacks, and our dogs can experience panic attacks just like people. Anxiety is pretty common in dogs. Separation anxiety, abandonment issues, noise anxiety. But panic attacks can be much more serious. So today, because I had a couple of interesting calls about that, today we're going to take a look at how to know the difference between an anxiety issue and a legitimate panic attack, which in many, many cases is serious and may in fact need some medication. So we're going to take a look at that coming up a little bit later on today's show. Also coming up on today's show, my listeners, and I say it every week, are truly, truly amazing. So many of you guys have adopted older pets, and that's fabulous. So today we're going to take a look at the pros and the cons of adopting older pets. Although in my mind, there are no cons. But today we'll take a look at some of the pros and some of the cons people say when adopting an older or a senior pet. Also coming up on today's show, of all the cat questions, of all of them I receive, this is the most common. Warren, Why does my cat spray? All cats are capable of spraying, contrary to what you're thinking. Male cats, female cats, spayed cats, neutered cats. But why? Why? That is the question. My thoughts coming up a little bit later on spraying cats, and it may not always be their fault. Also coming up, so why does your dog not do what you want? How many times have I heard, he won't listen to me, he doesn't do this, he doesn't come, he doesn't sit, he doesn't stay. Why does your dog not do what you want? Are they ignoring you, being stubborn, or just decided to do something else? What you need to ask yourself first, coming up a little bit later. As always, plenty of time for your questions and comments. Some stuff to give away on the show. I'm not giving away as much stuff as I used to. Let me give you a reason why. I'm donating a lot of the stuff that I would normally give on the air to the Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund. So a lot of the stuff I would normally give away is going to go in that direction. Plenty of time for your questions and comments. If your dog or cat is jumping, humping, digging, scratching, as I said, not using a litter box, doesn't come when you call him, doesn't get along with other dogs, not housebroken, believes that if he sees something, he's got to hump it. Give me a call, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. If you want to check out YouTube, we're broadcasting live at youtube.com/Warren Eckstein, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. I'm laughing at the question of the day because I had one just this morning. Do you ever have disagreements with your dogs and cats? I mean, literally. No, I'm not taking you out now. No, I just took you out. No, we're not watching that on TV. No, we can't go. Do you have arguments or sometimes negotiations with your dogs and cats? I'd love to hear from you as well. Give me a call, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. Plenty of stuff to share with you guys today. I got some personal stories as well. But for all the years, and we're going to get to you, Allan, we'll get to you, Carol. For all the years I've been talking to you guys, 45 years on the air, and longer than that even on TV. In about I guess it was the late 70s, early 80s, you started hearing me talk about my sanctuary, my farm in upstate New York. And when I say upstate New York, I'm talking about upstate New York, and it doesn't get more rural than that. And I kind of shared tidbits this and tidbits that, and I had my pet pig here, and I had chicken, and I had dog. So today, I think if we have some time, I'm going to tell you all about how that started. And it all started quickly. It all started with a lawsuit by Merv Griffin. Yeah, that's right. The reason I opened my sanctuary in upstate New York is all because of Merv Griffin. Still kind of angry at it. We'll talk about that a little bit later. The phone number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Do you argue with your pets? I want to know. Also, let me take this opportunity before I get to the phones to thank some of my listeners. The last couple of weeks, you started hearing me talk a lot more about my own Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund, my 501c3. We got some donations this week. People are just starting to find out about the amazing work that we do. I'll talk more about it later, but every week on the show, I'm legitimately going to share letters and thank yous that we've received from organizations you've never heard of, but your dollars and your cents help. They're not getting it from anywhere else but from my foundation and you. So we got a couple I'll talk to you about later. One's from a group of an organization that helps at the reservations, Native American organizations, Lake Traverse in South Dakota. We'll talk about them, and another one also we'll talk about a little bit later in Ohio. So we'll get to that. And again, you can always donate if you want, and you know that every penny you donate to the Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund will just about every penny. There's a few things that don't get there, but just about every penny goes directly to help the animals. So you can always go to hugskissesanimalfund.org. It is 501c3, or you can go to my website, thepetshow.com, and there's a click-through now right at thepetshow.com over to Hugs and Kisses. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. Let's go to interesting question from Allan in Kenoga Park. Hey, Allan, welcome to the Pet Show. Hey, Allan.
Hello.
Hi, Allan. How are you? Gosh, did we lose you, Allan? All right, so I can see on my computer that Allan's question was, is it a good idea to feed a feral cat? Is it a good idea to feed a feral cat? It all depends on the scenario. For example, I'm a big supporter, about TNR, trap, neuter, and release in colonies. But very often, when you have a single cat, my recommendation, and this is how I've gotten all my cats, is if you're going to start feeding this feral cat, bring the food closer and closer around the food dish, put an article of your clothing, let the cat start becoming real comfortable with you, with the scent of you, Allan, and you can even leave a little radio on outside with little talk so he gets used to the sound of people talking if he's not already. And little by little, what I would prefer you do is rather than just feed the feral, bless you, your heart's into it, I would rather see you convert this feral cat into a non-feral cat and bring him in. A lot more difficult with a colony, a lot easier with a single cat. So that would be my recommendation for you at this point. If possible, is to try to get or assimilate yourself with the cat so eventually the cat can come inside. And again, the reason for that, you hear me talk about this, is the average lifespan for a cat outside is relatively short compared to a 14, 15, 16-year-old lifespan if they live indoors. So again, that would be my recommendation. I know your heart's in the right place. Yeah, you want to feed the feral cat with the intention of ultimately bringing it inside. I have no problem. I think it's a great idea. But for those people that feed the feral cat at the feral cat colonies, and I was involved with some of the earliest ones before they were even called that, feeding a bunch of cats is what we called it, on Long Island many years ago. It can really make a difference, and I'm a big supporter of TNR as well. The number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Carol, we'll get to you in just a second. God, you know, it's an interesting question you have. It's we'll get to you. I don't want to rush you, so we'll get to your question in just a little bit. It's a question about her dog's bladder infection. Now he's peeing all over the house, so we'll get to that. Plenty of time for your calls. I do got some great stuff to give away. Not a lot of stuff because I'm going to be donating it back, but the phone number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. And as I said, for years now, people are always asking me about this sanctuary I had upstate, this place, this farm I had upstate that was built in 1802 and was falling apart, and I had to go outside and pump the water. I've never really told the story of how it came about and how I, in one way, I blame Merv Griffin for causing me to do it. On the other hand, I'm a little PO'd at him because he did cause me to do it. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. And by the way, at that sanctuary, I waited for every single animal to cross the Rainbow Bridge before I left as well. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-5752. Also coming up, years ago, a book came out that I was very much involved with putting together. It was called 277 Secrets Your Dog Wants You to Know. And part of that book was, you remember years ago, before there was the internet, people were posting single in the newspaper, single ads, looking for a perfect man, looking for the perfect woman. Well, I got some of those from this book, and I kind of found, I was just checking it out this morning, so I'm going to share those with you as well. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. A quick break, and again, the question of the day, do you argue with your pets? I want to know, do you argue with your pets? Give me a call on Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show. Cat's behavior, want to find out why they behave a certain way. Maybe you need me to help you resolve an issue. They're jumping, humping, or they're not using their litter box, or having accidents all over the house, or showing aggressive behavior, or suffering with separation anxiety, or food aggressiveness. Great time to call me. Phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. Plenty of time for your calls. I do have some stuff to give away on the show. I will be giving away some T-shirts. And right now, let me tell you, the T-shirts are brand new. They come in black, navy, red, charcoal, dark heather, purple, tropical blue, forest green, maroon. I don't see any of those colors, but I got some T-shirts to give away. And most importantly, I'll be giving away a couple of air horns as well. Every week you hear me talk about the air horns, and if you walk your dog or if you go walking by yourself, you never know when you're going to come across a group of coyotes or strange people or stray dogs or God knows what else is out there. Everyone who goes for a walk should have one of these air horns. So I got some of those to give away as well. You can buy them, by the way, at thepetshow.com. So check those out as well. The number here, 866-870-KRLA. The question of the day, pretty simple. Do you ever argue with your dogs and cats? Give me a call. Do you ever argue with your dogs and cats? Hey, Carol, just before we get to you, does anyone remember years ago, before the internet, a book came out, and I was very instrumental in helping put the book together. It's when I was working with Gene Rayburn, by the way. Do you remember those ads that people would take out, and now they do it online dating, but then it was in the newspaper, the local papers, and whatever. Well, here are some of the lines that we use. Seeking female who doesn't mind dog hair in the house. If looks are not the most important thing about people or dogs to you, we may be able to see the beauty of human and canine in ourselves. Seeking women who won't be jealous of my relationship with my dog. Have dogs that think they're hunting dogs but really aren't. Also loves cats, but my dog doesn't. Seeking a woman who spends a minimum of 10 hours a day, 10 hours a week rather, with her dog. I found that kind of interesting that you don't see those kind of ads anymore. They're whole different ball game nowadays. Has anyone out there ever used those ads? Has anyone out there ever met their significant other or relationship based on their dog or their cat or online or internet? Give me a call. I'd love to hear from you guys. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Let's go to Carol in Porter Ranch. Hi, Carol. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Lauren.
How you doing today? What can I do for you? What can I do for you?
I'll tell you what. I have a Briard that's turning 12 next month, and I took her in for a physical, and she had a bladder infection.
Well, let me ask you a question. Let me stop you for a second. A Briard, relatively not a common breed. Does it have the double dew claws in the back?
Yes.
Yeah, there's only two breeds that are really supposed to have that, the Great Pyrenees and the Briard. One advantage that I have, though, is I trained a lot of Briards when I was in Europe. Incredible breed of dog. So it's pretty rare that we get a Briard call on the show. So I understand from what I'm reading, your dog had a bladder infection. You had that treated by your veterinarian. The bladder infection cleared up now. However, the dog is peeing a lot. Tell me about the peeing, when it occurs, where it occurs, and what's going on.
Usually, if she has to go out to pee, she'll bark. She stopped barking to go out, and she'll go to the kitchen, and she pees on the floor. And today, she peed on her bed. And I called the vet, and she just said, "Well, she's an old dog."
Well, I'd love to be safe. I'd love to say that. Hey, she's an old. How old is the dog, by the way?
She's going to be 12 next month.
Okay. Yeah, she is an older dog. And
she's my fourth Briard. Her name is Gillette. She's a girl. I love the breed. They're wonderful.
Yeah, well, I don't think we need breeding right now, but what I think we need to do is stop your dog from peeing. So here's what I'm going to recommend that you do, okay? 12-year-old dog had a bladder infection. Now, what's going on is a couple of different things. When she had the infection and she peed, it was an entirely different scent than the pee that she has now since the infection's been taken care of. So part of it is kind of age, and part of it is also maybe a little bit of territorial response. You know, now she's coming back to the home and she wants to put her normal scent back down. That's all part of it. A couple of things that kind of concerned me a little bit. Number one was the fact that she peed on her bed. That's pretty unusual. That's more indicative of a dog that maybe just doesn't have the total control as of yet, or maybe a little leak. So we have to, how long ago was the surgery done? Or was it taken care of?
The bladder infection, it was done about a month or 2 months ago, but the vet put her on estrogen to see if that would help, because she doesn't have ovaries. I forgot to tell you that.
I totally understand that. But the situation with the going on, I don't know if the estrogen's helping or the estrogen's not. Follow your vet's advice. No. What I would be doing at this point is very simple. Number one, I don't have to tell you, you've had dogs your whole life, is to make sure you thoroughly cleanse the area with anything that doesn't have ammonia, any good enzymatic cleaner that's on the market, nothing from under the carpet. That's number one. Number two, spend more time with her in the kitchen. Spend more time with her in the area where she peed. Number two, make sure you wash her bed thoroughly. Again, you can use some of that enzymatic cleaner, and even spend time putting some of her treats and spending more time on her bed. It's a little soon to jump to any type of corrective approach at this point, based on the fact that she's 12, based on the fact, number two, that she recently had the infection. So what I would do, and you sound like such a compassionate person anyway, What I would be doing at this point is just letting her know we'll work through this. The more time you spend with them in the kitchen, specifically if you can get on the floor with her, that would be beneficial to me. I think that's going to make a difference. Putting some treats around in that area might be beneficial as well. Let's give that a shot for now. 12-year-old Briard.
What about during the night? You know, I'm sleeping, and she would, if she had to go, she'd bark, but now she doesn't. She'll get up and just go and pee in the kitchen or in
what I would, I can give you what I would do. Okay, we know she's 12 years old. We know she's just getting over this infection, and we know she's not at this point letting you know that she has to go out in the middle of the night. Now, this is going to sound a little crazy to people, but this is my passion. This is my response to your question based on what I would do. Till we get her through this, I would set my alarm for every couple of hours, every 3 or 4 hours. Just take a quick look, and before you take her out, make some noise. Get her to bark. Get her excited to reintroduce to the fact of waking you up before she goes outside. That's how I would approach it. Now, that's one of the reasons God created makeup. You're going to probably need it. So, if you can figure out approximately what time she's going, then you can kind of get up approximately that time and work it from that perspective. But that's what you need to do at this point.
Okay, I go to bed quite late because I read till like 2:30 in the morning. So
you Briard people are all alike.
So I'm up until then, letting her go in and out. You know, I open the door, go pee.
Yeah, but even more than open the door, go back to barking. How's her hearing?
Okay.
How's her hearing? Is her hearing okay?
Yes.
Okay, that went to the. Give me a call back in a couple of weeks. Let me know where we are if we have to go a little bit further.
Oh, that'd be great. You're the best. Thank you.
Oh, you have a great day, and give that pup a big hug and a kiss for me. Hey, great time to give me a call. We got a couple of open lines, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. Plenty of time for your calls. Lots of great stuff to give away on this show as well. Still coming up, I'm going to tell you how you, my audience, it's only been a couple of weeks since I'm promoting the Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund the way I am. Already, we're starting to get responses from some of the people we've donated money to, thanks to you. I'm going to tell you the story about how my upstate sanctuary or farm began, why it began, and it all started not on a happy note, but it all started with a lawsuit on me by none other than Merv Griffin. We'll talk about that, answer all your pet and animal questions. I got some t-shirts to give away. I do have some air horns to give away, copies of my best-selling books, either How to Get Your Dog or How to Get Your Cat, also some calming dicks and great recovery products from acornpets.com. So plenty of time for your calls, some great stuff to give away on Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show. Dry heat. It's a dry heat. Not to worry, Warren. It's a dry heat. Hey, great time to give me a call if you have a question or a comment, want to share a great story about your dog or cat. The phone number is 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. The question of the day is, do you ever kind of argue or negotiate with your dog or cat? I'll take you out a little bit later. No, Mom, I want to go out now. I love to hear from you. I got some great stuff to give away on this show as well. But right now, I want to talk to you about something that frustrates a lot of people out there. It can really be frustrating when our dogs don't respond when we need them to. Something I wrote for my YouTube channel. This will go up this week. So if you're not subscribing to YouTube, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. Easy enough to remember. It can be really frustrating when our dogs don't respond when we need them to. But your dog's non-response isn't because they are ignoring you, being stubborn, or they've decided to do something else. Even though they know better, dogs simply don't think that way. Only humans think that way. So why does your dog not do what you want at certain times? There's a lot of different reasons. Your dog is not motivated enough to do what you're asking. What's the motivation for your dog? A pat on the head? A quick belly rub? Oh, good boy, good boy. What's the motivation for your dog to respond? One of the things I also recommend, what are you offering the dog? You know, a lot of people use treats when they're training the dog. And for years, I was not a treat person. I was a hug and kiss person. But I've changed. I've changed. I've grown. I've matured. If you're going to use treats for reinforcement, if you're going to use treats for training, the most important thing that you need to understand is a term called variable reinforcement. You can overuse treats, which can make a big problem for you if you don't have them. So variable reinforcement, what does that mean? It means that when you're working with your dog, maybe the first time he gets a treat, doesn't get it the second one, gets it the third time. Doesn't get it the fifth one, gets it the seventh time. That's what variable reinforcement. So he's always looking for that reaction in between. That's the way to use treats if you're going to. So the next time your dog doesn't do what you ask, think about these three things. Does my dog know what I'm asking them to do? Have they ever done it in this environment? People don't understand the concept that environmental, our dogs have such better hearing, such better smell than we do. So sometimes we can have the dog, and you hear me say this often, the dog that's like Rin Tin Tin, Lassie, Benji, or Boomer when he's in the house. But all of a sudden, you take him to the dog park, or all of a sudden you take him somewhere else, and because of changes within the environment you're at, the dog just kind of doesn't respond the way he should because he's distracted. So make sure that if the dog isn't reacting properly, what in the environment may be causing that? What does my dog want at the moment? How do I use that as a reward for the behavior? Does he want a belly rub? Does he want a pat on the head? Does he want a treat at that point? Trying to figure out what they want is a really good motivator. And is the dog too close to a distraction? Can they see me? Can they hear me? You know, I want people to understand that the more we have compassion and understanding of how our dogs experience the world, the easier our lives, a stronger human-canine relationship become. For years, my listeners, that's you guys out there, and call me up if you disagree with me. For years, you and I were considered strange and weird because we worked with our dogs and we loved our dogs and we were positive about our training and positive about our behavior. And the relationship put in with our dogs is absolutely amazing. You know, I get a lot of videos from advanced training out there, and some of them doing Schutzen training or some other type of advanced training. And they have the dog right alongside them, pat up against them. The dog's eyes never off of them. That's important for certain types of work, military work, police work, search and rescue, narcotics, bomb detection. But gosh, maybe our dogs challenge us more because we don't give them the opportunity just to be a dog once in a while. He's going to sniff a butt. He's going to lift his leg. He's going to embarrass you once in a while. That's what dogs do. So please, when your dog isn't responding to every little whim that you have, I want you guys to make sure that you look at it from the dog's point of view and figure out, why is the dog not responding? What can I do differently to get a better reaction from the dog? You know, as many thousands of dogs as I've trained over the years, I've learned one thing. There's no one way to do it. There's no one way to do it. So when someone says, I use this type of training, as long as the training is my approach in terms of hugs and kisses and positive reinforcement, that's the way I go. And sometimes people say, well, I used to get this when I was running the largest school and training school in New York. Well, how much does it cost to train a dog? Let me give you an example. Back then, it might have cost $500 for a basic obedience course with your dog. I say $500. I know it's a lot more than that now, but maybe that's what I charged back then, $500. What does that mean? That means it's a 6-week course. That means for $500, your dog gets trained in 6 weeks. What if the dog takes longer than 8 weeks? What if the dog takes 12 weeks, 16 weeks? I never, ever put a limit on the training I was doing. Just like people, every dog has a different pace, a different rate of learning. And therefore, it's up to us as their guardians, as their owners, whatever you want you call yourself. It's up to us to understand that. So from a dog training point of view, and you know, I say this every week, and I don't mean it in a negative way. I think it's great that there's a lot of people out there getting involved in the field of animal behavior and training. I think that's good, but you have to be real conscientious about the way you're approaching it. You can't take a 6-week course and hang a shingle that says dog trainer. It takes years and years of working. Perfect example, every trainer that ever worked with me when I was working in terms of doing a lot of training, never, ever went out to train a dog on their own until they apprenticed with me directly. I'm not bragging about that, but I just wanted to make sure that my reputation was so important to me, and still so important to me, that if someone was going out and I was sending someone to train maybe David Letterman's dog or maybe a John Doe's dog, I wanted to make sure that there was no differentiation in the terms of the way these dogs were trained. They're trained in a positive way and getting the results we wanted to get. That's just me. You guys disagree or agree? But it's real important. If you get frustrated when your dog isn't responding to you, look in the mirror. That's what you should be frustrated at. Not the dog, but look in the mirror. That's what you need to be frustrated at. Great time to give me a call. I got some open lines. If you have a question or comment, got some super stuff to give away. The phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Quick break, then right back to all of your calls on Warren Eckstein. This is the Pet Show. 6870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. I'm having a little difficulty with some technical issues, but you can obviously watch the show on YouTube, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. And if you have a question and you want to ask it on YouTube, give me a call. I'm not seeing the questions on YouTube, so give me a call. The phone number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through to the show. If you have a question or a comment, want to share a great story, tell me how your dogs are making out, or your cats are doing. And the question of the day is, I'm surprised no one's responded to this, but do you guys ever argue with your dogs and your cats? Do you guys ever argue with your pets? I do all the time. You really want to go out right now, guys? So am I the only one that does that, or does anyone else do that as well? I'd love to hear from you, 866-870-5752. You know, one of the things I talk about often is to really become part of your dog or your cat's life. And that's not just a matter of taking them to the vet on a regular basis. It's not just a matter of giving them the best food possible, the best exercise possible. The most important thing that you can do is treat your dogs and cats as if they literally are part of the family. You don't have to take them out to the local restaurant for dinner with you, but you really need to incorporate your life with theirs. For example, if I'm home right now and I'm having a conversation, I always, hey, what do you think, Molly? What do you think, Willie? Do they know exactly what I'm talking about? Maybe not, but they're encouraged by the fact that I'm keeping them included in whatever is going on. And I think that's important for people to understand, the inclusion of their dogs, the inclusion of their cats in everyday activities. You know, when people come over very often, I remember growing up, my mother, when people came to the house, we had this beautiful German Shepherd. Well, this German Shepherd, I'm not going to say beautiful, named Smokey, beautiful on the inside. And she was never properly socialized or trained. Yeah, I kind of feel guilty about that. But I was a kid. And so when people came over to the house, my mother would immediately put Smokey either in a bedroom or in the garage. And therefore, Smokey never had that opportunity. Yeah, she met my friends. They all have little marks on their butts from her bite. But she never had that opportunity to really be incorporated with outsiders. She was part of the family. And I think it's important that when you have conversations, and I grew up in a typical Jewish family on Long Island. You never know because I have no accent. I don't act like it. But there was never a quiet dinner. At the dinner table, someone was going to argue about something. I said Chevy, my father would say Ford. And therefore, the dogs would always be in the room with us. I remember going to people's homes, and the dogs were not allowed in the kitchen when the family was eating. And I always said, no, I want the dogs, the cats, whatever pets I had at the time, I want them there with me. I want them to be part of the family. The more you treat your pets like part of the family, and unless you treat them like the family dog or cat, the more of part of the family they're actually going to become. And so I've always said that when you're home, studies now are showing that, hey, Warren, you were right. Studies are showing that the more time you spend having conversations with your pet or in front of your pet, the more they observe that, the more they understand. So if you think about it, how many words does your dog or cat understand? Yeah, they understand cookie. They understand, let's go out. You want to go for a walk, get your leash, get your collar. They understand those basic words, but do you legitimately have conversations and say, hey, what's going on? Let me tell you about this. Let me talk about politics. The only time I talk about politics is with my pets because they tend to agree with me. So it's real important I think we'd have a lot less behavioral issues. I have more behavioral issues, and I've been doing this for a few weeks. And there are more behavioral issues that people have with their pets nowadays than ever before. And this week I was trying to figure out why. Why is that? Why do we have more behavior issues? Why am I having more people calling me up with issues that I dealt with occasionally years ago, but now are more specific? And I think our lifestyles are changing. Yeah, we're busy. More people are spending time at home, working from home, and that may be a good thing for you, but it may not be necessarily a good thing for your dog or cat. They need their time. They need that independence. They need to be excited when you come home. So these are all things you need to take into consideration. And my goal has always been one thing specifically, is to give our dogs and our cats the opportunity, because they have such a short lifespan comparatively, to give them the opportunity to enjoy every moment, every second that they have with us. And that's why when people call me up and they talk to me about the older dog or the older cat, I just tell them the most important thing right now is to sit down, talk to them, have those conversations. Remember the good old days when you were running in the woods together, and now it's more of a stroll or meandering around the neighborhood. Remember that stuff. It's important. Great time to give me a call. The phone number 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show. 70 KRLA, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. Let's go to, you know what? I really do need to take another break, don't I, Alex? Let me do this. Let me take another break. Carol, I definitely want to we're okay? Oh, okay, cool. Let's go to Carol in Mission Viejo. Hey, Carol, welcome to the show.
Hi there, Warren.
How can I help you today, Carol?
Are you there?
I'm here.
Yes. Okay. I wanted to tell you how I train my dog, and then also how I argue with her.
Go ahead. That's 2 calls we lost. Call me back. Well, we're going to take a break in a few minutes. Then give me a call back at 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Still coming up on today's show. Real important that what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you about, we're going to take a look at my I want to say my farm. I guess it is my farm, but my sanctuary in upstate New York, what that's all about. We'll take a look at that. And also, I don't thank you guys enough. It's just only been a couple of weeks now since I've been talking to you guys about my Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund. I've been talking about it for years, but it's only now because the need is more than ever. The big organizations are out there, and their marketing is great, and they have public relations people, and they're raising all kinds of money, and they do a fair amount of work. But in terms of getting to the real humane workers, I'm talking about the people that are in it every day, that have poop under their fingernails and mud on their shoes and have a garage sale to raise $50 or something. These are the people that really, really need your help. These are the people that my Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund is one of the only organizations helping out. So I'm going to talk more about that later. And I'm also going to share a couple of letters that I received. Now, yeah, I get the thank you notes, but the thank you doesn't go to me. The thank you goes to my listeners. And that's really, really, really important. And if you're not familiar with the Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund, my goal has always been simply to raise money and donate it to the small mom and pop organizations, or they don't have that opportunity. They don't have that ability to raise more than $50, $100 at a time. And I'm going to read a couple of thank you letters coming up a little bit later, but I want you to check out hugsandkissesanimalfund.org. It's a 501c3. It's mine, so you know where the money's going to go, directly to the animals. And by the way, now I made it a little bit easier, because you can either go to hugsandkissesanimalfund.org, or if you prefer, just go to my website, thepetshow.com, and there's a click-through right there. So if you'd like to make a donation, boy, would I be really thankful. But more importantly, would the people that we donate the money be really thankful, like Lake Traverse Animal Rescue. And I'm going to share a letter with that they sent us. And I say us, not just me, but they sent us not that long ago. Again, the number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. 888-866-8252. We're going to break in a couple of minutes, and I don't want to rush anyone, but just a couple of minutes break. And Carol, I definitely want to get to you in Mission Viejo. And Lisa, you also got a great call in Playa Del Rey, my old hangout. It's kind of interesting, and I'm going to respond to Lisa after we break, but Lisa's question is how to have my dog be able to live with my cats. How to have my dog to be able, I get that question all the time, so I'll help you out with that as well. Again, the number 866-870-KRLA, and the question of the day is, do you ever argue with your pets? Do you ever argue with your pets? Also coming up on today's show, you know, a lot of people have been asking me about, when I talk about the farm I had in upstate New York, and how many animals I had there, and how a kid from Long Island wound up there with a place that was built in 1802. I actually believe that the building itself was a bordello many years ago, a general store at one time. It had gone through many changes. Then Warren moved in. And by the way, just so you know, there was no oven. It was the only oven in the house was a wood-fired oven. Yeah, that's right, a wood-fired oven. I'll talk more about that. I'll tell you about that story and how I wound up there, because it's really interesting. I had kind of rescued and saved all these animals. I had a location not too far away from where I lived on Long Island, and then a letter came to me in the mail, addressed to Warren Eckstein from the Merv Griffin Corporation in Atlantic City. Why would Merv Griffin possibly, what could he possibly have against the pet guy? What could possibly Merv Griffin want to do to me? Well, he wasn't too happy, but I'll tell you who won the battle, and I'll tell you how he got involved. Again, great time to give me a call. Plenty of time for your calls. I want you to check out the Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund.org. And there's anyone out there, I found this real interesting. I shared it earlier if you're just joining us. Years ago, remember, before there was the internet, people would post ads in the local newspapers looking for dates, and some of them were seeking female who doesn't mind dog hair in the house. If looks are not the most important thing about people or dogs, to you, we're able to see the beauty of human and canine inner selves, seeking a woman who won't be jealous of my relationship with my dog. Well, just a quick story, and I'll reiterate this a little bit later. Before I met Denise, and after my first wife passed away a year or so later, when I started dating again, sometimes on the first date I would bring him up to my sanctuary, and the first thing I would introduce him to was two 1,200-pound pigs, and very rarely, very, very rarely was there a second date. Number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Quick break, then right back to your phone calls on Warren Eckstein. This is the Pet Show. Great time to give me a call if you have a question or comment, or just want to find out why your dogs do what they do or your cats do what they do. Phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. Plenty of time for your calls. Lots of great stuff to give away. The question of the day is pretty simple. Do you ever argue with your pets? Got some great topics I want to share with you guys, and hopefully we'll have some time to do it today. So let me just do this right now, just before I get back to the phones, because I don't want to run out of time. Many of the questions I get on the Pet Show revolving people's cats are about why cats spray. So let me share this with you. Now get back to, all your phone calls. All cats, every single cat, are capable. They're all capable of spraying, whether they're male, female, neutered. And put simply, it's one of their ways of communicating something that they feel really strongly about, whether they're trying to get their point across to other cats or make their feelings known to you. Another cause of spaying from unneutered or even neutered cats can be linked to significant change in the home. And it's your cat's way of telling you that they're not happy about what is going on. It could be a move of a home, a new partner, the arrival of a baby, the addition of a new pet, a long-term visitor, disruptive building work, or even just decorating. Cats like to have regular routines and more sensitive to changes in their lifestyle than people realize. The effect on them, as far as possible, you will probably need to spend more time, more one-to-one time with your pets to reassure them that everything is still well. It's such a common problem with when, and again, I really believe that the difference between a good trainer, a good behaviorist, is someone who takes the time to analytically figure out why the problem is there. Not just, I know everyone wants a quick resolution, put a Band-Aid on it, but if you take the time to figure out why that behavior exists, makes it a whole lot easier to resolve, and it's the right thing to do. 866-870-KRLA. Let's see, I was going to Carol. Who was it? Carol? Yeah, let's go to Carol. Carol, welcome to the show.
Hi there, Warren.
Okay, so we lost you before. We got you now. What can I do for you, Carol?
Okay, can you hear me?
Absolutely, like you're right next to me.
Okay. I'm going to answer your question, but I need to tell you something first about my dog, and then you'll hear the answer. I call my Peaches. I say what had a young soul, and she needed a lot of training, and she did not learn early. And quite honestly, I was not a good trainer. I'd always had cats, and so anyway, I struggled with her, and I both walked her where she would do her business, but I would also wanted to train her to, I call them her pee pads in the garage.
Sure.
And because she had messed on a favorite rug of mine, and I thought, I can't handle this. Well, I'd never used treats before, so I started using treats with her. I would take her out to the pee pad. Finally, she got the message. And so when she's inside, if I'm under the weather or whatever, she goes out there. She'll also go outside walking. However, I would give her a treat every time she did and say, wonderful things to her. Peaches, I'm so proud of you. Good girl. And give her a treat. Well, now, when she does her business, she comes to me and leads me to the garage. And sometimes she has her business out there, but other times she hasn't. Nothing is there. And I'll look at her, and I'll say, Peaches, there's nothing here. You didn't go potty. And I'll turn around and walk back in. So that is what I call my arguing.
You're arguing with Peaches. What kind of dog is Peaches?
She's a mix of a Shih Tzu and a Maltese.
God, what a combination! Great call. I mean, I really appreciate the fact. And you know what you did? It was kind of interesting what you said. I'm going to get to you, Lisa and Ann, I promise. What you said is really interesting. Several years ago, more than several years ago, I was working in New York City doing all the training for Women's Wear Daily and New York Magazine people. And when you saw Women's Day or Vogue Magazine, and you saw models with animals on them, you can rest assured that I was there somewhere. And it was a tough job, but someone had to do it, guys. But the thing that I remember most about that is that, I don't know if I want to say this or not, is that a lot of these models, they were beautiful women and some great-looking guys as well. And they lived by themselves in New York City while they were, building their modeling careers. And by the way, great call, by the way, Carol. I really do appreciate it. And when they were working on their modeling careers, they would get a dog to kind of keep them company. And if you know anything about New York City back at those days, it was not the safest place to walk. So after they got home, and very often their shootings would be late at night, and they'd get home late at night, they didn't want to walk their dogs. They were fearful of taking their dogs out for a walk in Central Park or Washington Square or Riverside, or wherever they were taking wherever they were taking their dogs for a walk. So very often it occurred to me that the right thing for these people to do, and most of them had little dogs, poodles, schnauzers, Pekingese, the right thing to do would be to teach the dogs to either use a pad, In many cases, I used a litter box and trained the dogs to go into a litter box. So the dogs had the option, and the guardians, the owners, had the option. If it was dark out and they got home late, they didn't feel as guilty because the dog would be able to use the litter box or the pad. And if they wanted to walk the dog, they would be able to walk the dog. So it was kind of a combination of both, and it worked out incredibly well for them. So yeah, I understand exactly what she was saying. So sometimes it's a combination. Now, generally speaking, I always say to people, if you can teach your dog to go inside and then teach them to go outside, that's going to be confusing. So I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is the situation where the lifestyle of the dog is going to be consistently going inside and going outside for walks. And it worked well. I mean, a lot of these models were very thankful that they were able to have their dogs and not have to worry about going for a walk late at night in Midtown Manhattan. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-5752. Let's go to Lisa in Playa Del Rey. Hi, Lisa. How you doing?
Hi, Warren. I love your show.
Well, thank you. I miss Playa Del Rey. I'm in Arizona now, so I really do miss Playa Del Rey. It was my sneaky way to get to all the beach communities.
Yes, it's a great place. And my dad is the person who actually told me about your show years ago. He kept telling me, you have to listen to this show, Warren Eckstein, and then I finally started, and the rest is history.
What a bright pop you had. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the problem is, the day that I've been dreading has finally come. My parents are sort of incapacitated, and I now have their dog. And he's about 11, but he's still very active and energetic. And I have 3 cats. I live on the 3rd floor in a condo, and I have to keep them separated because he will go crazy and try to, I don't know if he would hurt them, but he reacts like he would. And I have to keep them separated, and I just want to know, is this going to be this way forever? Is it fixable?
No, you have to get an adjoining apartment, one for the dog.
Yeah, I wish.
No, I'll tell you, if you remind me later, if someone reminds me, I'll tell a story about clients I had actually had 2 houses next door to each other because their dogs didn't get along. Anyway, here's my recommendation. Number 1 is little by little, we can get the dog introduced to the cats. It's going to take some patience, some time, and perhaps a little Chardonnay on your part. What I want you to do is get the cats living with the scent of the dog right now, and the dog living with the scent of the cat. How are we going to do that? With the cats, you can just rub a towel on the dog and bring it in with them. Do it every day for a week or so. With the dog, it's a little bit different. What I would do with the dog is I would actually go out, and I know you people in Playa Del Rey have plenty of money, buy a little stuffed animal that resembles a cat. And what I would do is I would take that and I would get the scent of the cats on that. And at night, when you're with the dog, have that alongside of you, make it a positive experience, give him a massage, a treat. I want him to start associating positive with the scent of the cat. After we've accomplished it, and I want you to vary the cats, after we've accomplished where he's not going crazy with the smell of the cats or not going after this stuffed animal, then what I would recommend doing is, if you have a close friend or a relative or someone that can help you, maybe one of them can come into the home with you, and you can sit on one end of the couch or one end of the room with the dog on a leash and a harness, giving him a lot of positive praise and a new toy maybe. The other person sitting on the other side of the room just holding the cat for a few seconds, and when they ignore each other for a minute, that's enough for that day. Next day, do it again. Now, quite honestly, it's not going to happen overnight, but little by little by little by little, you'll be able to accomplish it, and you'll come home one day and you'll be able to put all of them together. But again, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take some time. It's an 11-year-old dog I'm dealing with. It's not like I'm dealing with a puppy, but it can be done. Many, many times I've worked with dogs even older than this, where the parents had passed away, or for whatever the situation, the dog had to, and bless you for being such a great daughter, by the way. I really admire you. Don't know how many dogs and cats wind up at shelters when the parents become either
I know,
incapacitated.
Yes,
it drives me crazy. I talk about this all the time.
It's horrible.
So I will stay with you. Let's do it. You're going to love me one day. You're going to hate me one day. But we want to use this first pet psychology on it. I'm going to send you a copy of how to get get your cat to do, well, I don't know, how to get your dog. I'm going to send you a copy of How to Get Your Dog to Do What You Want. There's a chapter in there on first pet psychology. Even though this isn't first pet psychology, it's kind of making the introduction. There's also some great articles and great information on my YouTube channel and the website, thepetshow.com. But again, I want you to understand it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take some time, and it's an 11-year-old dog. And, you know, just like people, the older you are sometimes, the more encouraging you need to change your ways. And I'm assuming the dog has never been exposed to cats in the past.
Not that we know of. We got him in 2019. He was about 6 then. He came out of the shelter. And he's got really strong prey drive. I mean, I have to be on lookout for squirrels because there's a lot of them out around my place right now.
See,
that's falling to the ground.
Yeah, that's why. Well, some basic. Oh, you know what? While you got the book, maybe you ought to train the dog a little bit. Even though he's 11 years old, it's like telling me that someone who's 80 can't learn something by reading a book. Start doing at least the training that you see in the book in terms of teaching the dog to walk. At least teaching the dog to walk alongside of you without pulling. That's what you need to do at this point, okay? So I'm going to send you a copy of How to Get Your Dog to Do What You Want. You always have access to call me on a Saturday. But also, check out the YouTube channel, youtube.com, my name, Warren Eckstein. And also, what I would recommend that you do is I can't send you both, and I'm sending you the book. If you go to my website, thepetshow.com, get yourself one of the air horns. In fact, I'm going to do a commercial for them in about 10 seconds for me. And there's a special on the air horn. Get one of those air horns. It'll really help with the chasing of the squirrels as well, besides the training in the book.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much.
Oh, Lisa, keep me posted. Let me know what's going on, and send my regards to everyone in beautiful Playa Del Rey.
Thank you. Thank you for everything you do.
Don't go anywhere. I'm going to put you on hold. The lovely Suzette's going to pick up, and we're going to send you a copy of How to Get Your Dog to Do What You Want. By the way, you know, I give away a lot of those copies, but if you'd like to get a copy of How to Get Your Dog or How to Get Your Cat to Do What You Want, they are available at Amazon.com, or they're also available at my website, thepetshow.com, so check it out. All right, we're going to get to you, Ann, I promise. Before we do that, I want to take a break right now, and I want to talk to you about my own website and about some of the great things that are going on. Listen to me carefully here. You hear me talk about those air horns every single week. And how many times those air horns have saved a dog from a coyote attack, or a dog from an attack by stray dogs outstride, or how many times people have written me and said, Warren, thank you for letting us know about the air horns and for giving us the air horns or selling us the air horns, because now not only does it help me when I take my dog, but if I'm out by myself, if I'm going to Ralph's, if I'm going to Albert, I'm going somewhere, you know, sometimes I see some strange people in the parking lot, and just the tap of the air horn makes me feel secure when other people look around and see where I am. So what we decided to do, actually, it was my wife, the lovely Denise, and Julie, my assistant. What we decided to do is put a big sale on the air horns. They didn't ask me, they just did it. So here we go. On sale now, I don't know for how long, but on sale now, only on my website, thepetshow.com. And don't forget the word the. It's all one word, thepetshow.com. Here's the deal. The air horns now come in 2 different sizes. There's the regular size and there's the XL size. Now, here's what we're able to do, only because we made a special deal. If you order one of the air horns, either size, as of right now, 15% off. If you order 2 of the air horns, either size, 20% off. And if you order 3 or more of the air horns, again, either size, you would get 25% off. So only on my website, thepetshow.com, and only while supplies last. So if you were thinking about those air horns, if you walk your dog or go out by yourself, I mean, Denise takes one with her when she goes to the supermarket. Check out, I don't know how long the sale's only going to be around. I don't know what we have in stock, but until the stock is gone, so check them out at thepetshow.com, thepetshow.com. And while you're at thepetshow.com, check out the brand new None of My Friends Walk Upright t-shirts. They now come in a variety of colors: black, navy, red, charcoal, dark heather, purple, tropical blue, maroon, dark chocolate, azalea. I don't even see these colors. I'm colorblind, but they're all available at my website, thepetshow.com, and a major portion of all the t-shirt sales sales will go directly to my Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund.org. So check out the T-shirts, check out the air horns today. Don't wait. I don't know how long we're going to have them till supplies last at thepetshow.com. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show. 66870 KRLA 866-870-5752. I do have some air horns to give away. I do have a couple of T-shirts to give away as well. Copies. You just heard me give a copy of How to Get Your Dog. I got How to Get Your Cat to Do What You Want. I got some calming discs and recovery products from acornpets.com. You'll be hearing me talk more about them. In fact, it's a great, great company. If you have an older dog or an older cat, check out acornpets.com. Again, that number 866-870-KRLA. The question of the day is, do you ever argue with your pets? But still coming up, I'm going to get into myself a little bit today. I'm going to talk about how I was sued by Merv Griffin and what that did to cause me to get my farm in upstate New York. We'll talk about that. We'll continue answering all of your pet and animal questions. And I'm going to share some letters. A really deep thank you to my listeners. You know about my Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund, and I generally don't talk about it that much, but we have been inundated, and so many people now need your help, and you people are coming through for me. So I'm going to give you more information on that coming up in just a little bit, and read these thank you letters as well. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. I'm not going to get to all of my topics. I never do, but right now, let's go to Ann. Hi, Ann. Welcome to the show.
Hello. My name is Ann. I have 2 adult cats, male and a female, and they've had 7 kittens, and we all live in a 2-bedroom house together. We can't go outside because there are other cats outside, and they have fleas, and we don't have any fleas in the house thus far.
All right, Ann, let me just stop you for a quick second. Why aren't your cats spayed and neutered?
Because the house, the place that you take them is very crowded, and they're not taking any more animals in my area.
Well, there are so many different organizations out there that will spay and neuter. I mean, literally. So
I know,
something.
But I have no transportation.
Well, there are people that will help you transport as well. So before we, I don't know if you know what. Before we leave, I want Suzette, get the information on a phone number, an address, city, and I'm not promising, but what city do you live in, Ann?
L.A.
Whereabouts in L.A.?
On the west side of L.A., near Crenshaw and Slauson.
Okay, so what we'll do is I want you to send me, if there's any group out there that can help her spay and neuter. How many kittens do you have now?
I have 7 newborns, about 4 months old, and they're ready to be potty trained, and I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, well, the first thing you need to do for even potty training is spaying and neutering right now. It sounds to me, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart.
All the spayed and neuter clinics are full, and they don't take any more animals. They have people dumping their cats in the ocean. We're
gonna try to find you. We're going to try to find you someone that can help you get these spayed and neutered. Okay. Now, in terms of teaching 7 cats to use a litter box, and 2 adult cats that are not spayed and not neutered, God, this is a really, really tough situation. I think the first thing we need to do right now is put down whatever litter box numbers you can afford to put down. That's number 1.
I have 3 of them so far.
Well, you might even want to put a 4th down with that many kittens around. Then what I would do is it's a tough one. It's a tough one for me to answer. You got to get these all taken care of. You got to get them spayed and neutered into the vet.
Well, I understand that. And do me a favor. I will do that when I get someone to come and pick them up and bring them back.
Okay, that's what we need. That's where we need. That's the first thing we need to do right now. In terms of the kittens use the litter box, I would put them in an area where they have access to the litter box, feed them on the opposite end, and see, it's overwhelming for you. And if it's overwhelming for you, you can imagine how I feel, because with the situation you're in, it's almost impossible. And we want to make sure that we'll try to hook you up with an organization that can be helpful to you, that maybe will help you find a home for these kittens. kitten. So let me do this. I want to put you on hold, Ann. I'm putting you on hold. Suzette, get all of Ann's information. If there's a group out there, Joy, if you know anyone, if there's a group out there that can guide Ann further, I'll have her information. Shoot me an email at mail@thepetshow.com. Let's see if we can help Ann out. Obviously, she understands that these cats need to be spayed and neutered, but she's unable to do it. And I get it, man. Everyone is overwhelmed right now. And, I do my international show and national show after this. It's not just LA, but there are groups out there that may be able to help you out. And see, those are the small mom and pop groups. Whatever group decides to help her out, those are the small mom and pop groups that my Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund wants to help out. The shelters are full. They're doing the best they can. But there are small mom and pop groups out there that will go out of their way and say, you know what? Let's help Ann out. Let me know. We're going to get Ann's information as soon as we can. And if someone wants to shoot me an email at mail@thepetshow.com and can even guide me in terms of getting some of this information out there, I really, really would appreciate it. Let's help her out. I mean, here's a woman that obviously knows what to do and just doesn't have the ability to do it right now. And a little helping hand from us can go a long way. So if you're involved with an organization that can spay and neuter and maybe transport a little bit, please shoot me an email at mail@thepetshow.com or give me a call right now on the air, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Let's see if we can help Ann out. And that's what the show does. Over the years, you have no idea how many animals we've saved by working as a team and working together. God bless you, Ann. I know it's kind of a little embarrassing to talk about, but I understand where you're coming from, and we'll try to do whatever we can to guide you. And I hope there's some groups out there that are either going to give me a call or send me an email that will be able to at least guide Ann in the right direction. Hey, the phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through to the Pet Show. Plenty of time for your calls. Lots of stuff to give away. I still got some real interesting topics I want to go over with you guys. Hopefully we'll get to them. We'll try our best. All right, listen. Every week for years now, you hear me talk about Delta Rescue. Delta Rescue, thank you note we got. Dear Denise and Warren, on behalf of all our rescued friends here in Millbury, Ohio, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you for your gift. Your donation will help us continue our work of rescuing abused and neglected horses. That's what I'm talking about. We do it for everyone. Your donation will help us continue the work of rescuing abused and neglected horses. The Healing Barn, which is the name of the group, takes in horses and donkeys in need, rehabilitating them physically as well as emotionally. Those who cannot be adopted are then found good homes. Those who need specialized care can stay with us for the rest of their lives. 100% of your donation goes toward caring for our rescued friends. Oh my goodness, what a great, and this is the little tag at the bottom. Oh my goodness, what a great surprise. We received your donation, and it's going to really help save thousands of lives. Oh, this is just a letter. This is the Healing Barn based in Millbury, Ohio. Thank you, my listeners to the Pet Show. You have helped them so much. Here's another one. This is a little different. I have always been fanatically interested in Native Americans. Hi, Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund. The Lake Traverse Animal Rescue, a nonprofit organization, wants to thank you and let you know how much of an impact your donations have made over the past year. We will continue to work hand in hand with the community and tribal authorities in our rescue efforts, building on the relationship we have forged with them, to make every penny, nickel, quarter, and dollar that is donated to LTAR count. We wouldn't have made it through this past difficult year without your generosity. She has a couple of Native American words, Pidamaya. I don't know what that means. And I guess the name of the tribe that they work with is Sisseton. Perfect example how this organization is going on to the reservations. And we all know the situation at reservations. They don't get a penny from anybody other than the few dollars that they can raise, garage sale, bake sale, But they were able to save hundreds and hundreds of more animals, not thanks to me, but thanks to you, my listeners. You've made a difference. So you know when you donate to my Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund, my reputation stands behind it 100%. And I'm telling you right now, with what's going on everywhere, we need your help. And I say we need. I don't personally need your help, but I need your help to help me help those that are in dire straits all across the country. You see them every once in a while at a Petco store, a PetSmart store, or somewhere else trying to raise a few bucks. That's what I do. That's what the Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund is all about, kind of like the United Way. So if you can't help me, please let me tell you how to make a donation. You can go directly to the Hugs and Kisses website. It's a 501c3, which means any donations there will be totally tax deductible. It's hugsandkissesanimalfund.org. 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 Now, I know there's so many things we have to remember, so I made it a little bit easier. If you prefer, you can go directly to my website, thepetshow.com. All one word, don't forget thepetshow.com, and click directly on the link to the Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund. By the way, when you're at thepetshow.com, don't be afraid to order one of these t-shirts that we have on sale. I told you they come in sizes from small to 5X and just about every color under the moon. Why am I talking about the t-shirts? Every purchase of the t-shirts, the majority of every purchase of the t-shirts will go directly to the Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund to help organizations like Lake Traverse Animal Rescue or the Healing Barn. Bless you and thank you for helping me, and I hope you continue to do so. Especially, this is an important week for a lot of these organizations, a lot of things going on. Literally, we got a stack of mail the other day, specifically asking us, because we check them out carefully and making sure it's the right organ, a stack that needs our help. And we need your help. So check out hugsandkissesanimalfund.org. That's hugsandkissesanimalfund.org. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show. You know, for years now, about my sanctuary in upstate New York, here's how it got started. Living on Long Island, working as a peace officer and training dogs for every police and whatever. And I wound up opening a very, very large boarding facility and training facility where I was training dogs for narcotics detection and bomb detection for people all over the world. And people would come to board their dogs with me, and they knew how much I loved dogs because they would see me or hear me. And the bottom line was they would leave their dogs and never come back for them. Or I would see dogs on the street, and I would bring them and try to find homes for them. And I couldn't. So I'd bring them back to the kennel, and that's where they stayed. Same thing with stray cats. Same thing with rescued pigs. And I named my facility Pet Resorts International. Thought it was a great name, Pet Resorts International, right? Sounds cool. Well, Merv Griffin had a casino in Atlantic Beach called Resorts International. Not Pet Resorts International, but Resorts International. A week after I opened up Pet Resorts International, I got a cease and desist letter from the Merv Griffin Corporation saying, you can no longer use that name. It didn't stop me, but I realized I was going to get in trouble. So what I did is I said to my wife at the time, Faye, we got to find another place. We couldn't afford another place in New York, especially on Long Island or Queens or Brooklyn. We drove upstate to a little town called Carlisle. It's about a half-hour west of Albany. I bought 5.5 acres of property with an old barn and an old house that was built in 1802 for $29,000. That's all I had. Every penny I had. And the electricity was gone. There was no water. You had to go outside and pump the water. But I needed a place because I had all these animals. What was I going to do? So I bought the place and wound up in a caravan bringing all my animals up there. It turned out 35 dogs, 35 dogs. I'm looking for the list because I actually wrote it down. There were 35 dogs. How many dogs? Over 30 cats, 6 chickens, 6 ducks, 22 rabbits, a pet snake named Gomer, a guinea pig named Oreo, and my Spotty and Corky. One of my pigs was 900 pounds, and one of my pigs was 1,200 pounds. That's how I wound up with this place that was built in 1802. I'm serious. I believe it was a bordello at one time, and it was a general store. They move it from place to place. That's how they used to move houses in this really rural area. I was surrounded by dairy farms, which was fine. But I got to be honest with you. Going out when you'd have like 1.5 feet of snow and trying to get the water pump to work by hand, you had to put leathers in. It was just an incredible situation. But you know what? Looking back at it and thinking of Faye and myself painting, me falling off the roof and putting, because the roof was metal, I had to paint it with special paint. Every minute, every hassle, everything, and I froze my butt off there that we did, I would do again in a minute, just to remember that every one of those 35 dogs, 30 cats, 6 chickens, 6 ducks, 2 pigs, every one of them crossed the Rainbow Bridge with one thing they all knew. And the one thing they all knew is they were loved, they were cared for, and someone really, really, really adored them. And that's made it all worth it. Eventually, years later, when I decided to move to California, and Denise and I got together with the lovely Denise, all the animals had passed away at that point, across the Rainbow Bridge, and I was able to sell the farm. But it was interesting how people are different. When I lived up there, my next door neighbor was a dairy farmer whose family had been farming for God knows how long. Rosie Ward, I'll never forget her name, the Wards, Rosie Ward. And when I was traveling, and my career was just starting to kind of move a little bit then, I was traveling all over the country, that Rosie would come over and take care of the pigs and the chickens and the ducks and all the dogs. Rosie's no longer with us, but it was an interesting, the happiest time of my life. And I had the Buster Brown dog, Tiger, that was going out. I bought a tractor. I'm lying. Someone bought me a tractor, a little tractor. It was used. It was beat up, but you know me. My father was in the auto business. I'm mechanically inclined. I got it started, got it running. And my happiest memories of this little town called Carlisle, a half hour west of Albany and about a half hour from beautiful Cooperstown, the Baseball Hall of Fame. Beautiful, beautiful place. The house I was living in wasn't so beautiful, but it was a beautiful, beautiful place. Was getting on the tractor and going out and just cutting the grass. It was just amazing. It was just amazing. So that was the story. When you hear me talk about the sanctuary in upstate New York that I had, or the farm as I call it sometimes, I had all these animals, would have kept them no matter what, put them in a studio apartment if I had to. But it was because of Merv Griffin, who I told later, I posted the video of me doing the Merv Griffin show years later with Marriott Hartley and Victor Borg and Merv. I remember doing the show. And when I was in the green room, I said to Merv, Merv, you tried to close me down. And we had a good laugh over it. Anyway, that's the story of my sanctuary in upstate New York. Thank you for listening. I kind of do miss it. I don't miss the cold weather, but I do miss it. I went from Cobleskill, New York, at the foothills of the Catskills, to now living in beautiful Arizona, where if I look out the window now, it is exactly 107 degrees. Quick break, then right back at you. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is... God, I had so many great topics to talk about today. I didn't get to a lot of them. I wanted to talk about panic attacks in dogs. Veterinarians and canine behaviorists think that dogs can experience panic attacks just like humans. While anxiety is common in dogs, panic attacks aren't just being a bit nervous and fearful. They're actually full-blown extreme reactions that are completely out of proportion to the danger they're in. Now, behaviorists don't agree whether the extreme anxiety displayed during reaction to phobia is a panic attack or not. Some say yes, some say no. But I want everyone out there to be aware of some of the reactions your dogs may have. And I'll post this also on YouTube in the next week or so. If you notice your dog trying to use what we call hiding or escape behavior, that's indicative of a panic attack. If you notice that all of a sudden the dog is being destructive or digging in the carpeting or in the house somewhere else in the bed, that could be a full-blown panic attack. If you notice that all of a sudden maybe the dog is nauseous or vomiting, has diarrhea, that could be part of a panic attack. This is not just anxiety. We deal with anxiety. This is a full-blown panic attack. Pacing, trembling, sudden panting, drooling, frantic attention-seeking behavior, howling, barking, or socialization, or even vocalizations. Now, there's a lot of things a good guardian can do at home. And I'll post this, but I want you to understand that there's medications available now on the market that could be beneficial using kind of a form of Xanax. Medication in conjunction with good behavior therapy can make a difference. But I want people to understand that it is true that certain dogs, they think the dog's crazy. No, they're just having a panic attack. We'll talk more about that as the weeks go by and when I have more time. I'm not going to have time to take your call, Lucy, but here's the phone number for the national show. Right off there, get off there here. I do my National Canadian Armed Forces Radio America show. Starts in about 3 minutes. Write this number down. You can call. I give away the same stuff. That phone number is 877-725-8255, 877-725-8255. Until next week, give all your pets a big hug and a kiss for you, one between the ears for me. I'm Warren Eckstein, and thank you for listening to The Pet Show.